A perfect wife, who can find her? That's a rhetorical question, no need for answers. I could see some wives there nudge their husband to put up their hands. Today's first reading from the book of Proverbs gives us the description of a perfect wife. It's tempting to imagine the scene with the women of the house hard at work, keeping the house ticking over, almost effortlessly obeying every expectation of her husband before he even has to say a word. She seems to be locked away from the cares and the worries of the outside world. But if we read more carefully, we learn that that is far from the truth, and that the wife is really immersed in the outside world. She reaches out to the poor. She opens her hand to the needy. In reality, the good wife is a model for all of us to follow. Such a person brings good and happiness and blessings and joy to others. She knows how to do things wisely. She knows how to work. She knows how to care for the poor. She knows how to look after her family and her husband. Like the good wife, we are all blessed with our own gifts and talents. But do we use them to their full potential? Do we use them for others, or do we use them for ourselves? Do we use them for God, or do we use them for our own gain? A prime example of this was our servants in the Gospel. The man with 5 talents went off and made 5 more. The man with 2 made 2 more. Yet the man who was entrusted with 1 buried it and kept it safe, not willing to make interest at all. It is important to remember that although the master is abroad in our Gospel, the servants are still his servants, and the talents he gives them are his talents, and all that they do while he is away will be done in his name and under his authority. He may be absent, but he puts his trust in his servants, and he asks them in turn to trust in him, that he will reward them for the work that they will do while he is away. God has indeed blessed each and every one of us with many gifts and talents. But the talents that God has given us are his own. We have them on loan. What we do in this life, whatever we use these God-given gifts and talents for, we do under the authority and the ownership of God. At the end of time, we need to be accountable to Christ for how we have used our God-given gifts and talents. And of course, with that responsibility comes risks and challenges, just like our 3 servants in the Gospel. How will we answer Christ when he questions us over such gifts and talents? Will we be able to stand erect, with our heads held high, and tell him that we have invested these talents for the good of others? Or will we stand bowed low, with our shoulders slumped, and say we have buried them? God gives us gifts and talents to be used, not to be buried, to corrode, or to be forgotten about. Let's use these gifts and talents in a way that will benefit everyone, that will not be used for our own gain, but for the people we love and the people we meet in our daily life. And then, please God, one day when we have to face those questions, we will hear Christ respond to us, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Come and share in your Master's happiness."